Hello world, Bob God here with another transmission. I like to start this message off with a disclaimer. If you're someone who does not live in reality, if you're someone who is not open to new truths, if you're someone who prefers to live in your delusion, then I would advise you to scroll past this video. Many people who already know my content, you know I see scales and pattern recognition and cyclical patterns. So the stuff that we're going through right now, for a vast majority of civilization, they see this as unprecedented. But what I'm about to tell you about will give you a different perspective. For many people who are not religious, they write off the people who are religious as, you just a zealot, you just playing by the book. But they never look at the perspective from the person who actually believed these ideologies of their religions. So all the while you're dismissing them off as make-believe, they dismissing you off as led astray and lost. And sometimes they try to get you to believe what they believe as well. But when you're looking at it through the lens of somebody who actually believes what they believe, the people who know that they believe what they believe can make reality look like what these people believe is actually coming to pass. For example, in 2022, Judeo-Christians found, I believe, 5 red heifers. And this is supposed to be a part of a prophecy before a messianic figure would come back, before they can build their third temple. And then even when you look at the Muslim community, right now, a lot of them believe that we are going through what's known to them as the Great Mahdi, where it's like another Christ type of figure or Savior type of figure will come back, and Jesus will come back with them to get rid of the Antichrist. Now, a lot of people, when Donald Trump posted that picture with him looking like a savior figure, a lot of these believers attributed that to the part of the Bible where it says, this figure will try and depict themselves as like a godlike figure, which would actually be blasphemous. So while all of the people on the outside who not religious, they just looking at it like, oh, he trolling, he trying to say he like a savior figure, they don't take it that serious. But for the people who actually believe that stuff, they looking at it like the Bible prophecy is coming to pass, when in reality, it's just the people who, they are actors, bro. The Bible and the books, all of these religious scriptures are blueprints. And the people who believe in it think that it's actually coming to pass, but the actors are playing it out. They can create an environment of famine. They can create an environment of war and chaos and divide. The messaging that they used to push was, let's come together, let's get married. All of the stuff that's wrong in society right now would be wiped out like this if they just changed the messaging. But they allow this divisive messaging to be put out there to make society look like the book of Revelations is unfolding. And the idea of the apocalypse is nothing more than lifting the veil, giving people eyes to see reality for what it is. And that's exactly what the internet and social media has done. It gave everybody the reality to see everything around the world. They can look it up when they want to. They can look in this direction, look in that direction. That's the part about the apocalypse. They gave us the eyes to see. It wasn't something that just came to pass. They manipulating and making society however they want. They can get rid of the internet tomorrow if they wanted to. But the next step after apocalypse, that lifting of the veil, is Armageddon. Armageddon is basically, it could be internal or external, is the clash of ideologies, whereas people who live in reality facing off against the people who living in their delusion or living in whatever they believe in. Coming together, it's this clash of ideologies. That's why you see people being more tribal than ever. That's why you see people saying left, right. Being a Republican or Democrat is no different than being a Christian or Muslim. So, with all that being said, stuff like peace talks, negotiating with people who are radically religious and they believe what's happening, you could be saying, oh, we're going to blow this up and we're going to blow that up. They ain't going to say, well, we should stop. We should talk peace. They saying, oh, that mean that the book was right. This is the part of the book that they were talking about. That picture of him posting him as a savior, that's the part of the book that they were talking about. It's happening. The war is supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. So the people who actually believe it, bro, It has to. There's no way around it. It has to happen. And then another thing that I came to the conclusion of is even the secular part of society and the religious part of society is just like Democrats and Republicans switching office back and forth. You get to a point where when you are secular and you leave the religious faith and you give so many people this idea to be what they want and be free, a lot of the times you get very few people who have wisdom while they're free, which is why I say freedom without wisdom leads to moral decay. So it's like a pendulum swinging, just like it is with the political cycles. You give people this wave of freedom for a while, and then enough people say, wait a minute, even though they got this freedom, it's destructive to our society. So then they say we need to put structure back in order. We need to put laws and rules back in order and accountability. And then they move back over to a structure. You can call it a religion. You can call it governance. You can call it whatever you want. But it goes from people. It's like a pressure relief valve that always swing both ways. Mark my words, bro. The stuff that's in the Bible is going to play out. The famine and the wars and all of the divide and the chaos, and it's going to play out because they want it to play out, and they keep making it play out. Every civilizational boom and bust, rise and fall. So it will come to pass, but not because it's prophecy, but because the people are acting out the books. Like if you look up this book from, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 1897. I could be wrong, but it's called The Last President. And it's about this character named Barron Trump. And he's like a real estate investor, and he lives on Fifth Avenue. And then protesters will be outside of his house and all of that kind of stuff. And the name of this book is called The Last President. Somebody can read that and say, oh, see, this man wrote this book over 100 years ago and it's coming to pass. No, bro, they put this stuff in sequential order so they can play it out as time goes along. So the people who connect these dots, they will believe that it's happening, coming to pass. No, bro. They just playing this whole shit out. It's wild. It's wild. So mark my words. Tribes will be formed. There will be more divide and chaos. School is not really as useful as it used to be. It's going to take some bonding together. For the people who don't understand what I be saying when that strong and independent shit, they trapped you with that. They lied to you. They lied to you real bad. This is not the time to be running around saying, I don't need nobody, especially if you are a woman. Especially if you are a woman. Because like I said, even though some people aren't religious, a lot of people aren't religious, you still got to take into consideration there are other people who do really believe in it. They believe when they die, they got some kind of paradise in the afterlife. So they don't care about dying. They don't care about the rules. They don't care about your laws or none of that stuff when they looking at their whole worldview through a religious lens. They look at the laws like, oh, you're trying to oppress me. Your laws don't govern them. Like I said, the government in itself is a religion. So when you're trying to oppress somebody's religious perspective with your government perspective, it's like, no, that's not my beliefs. So that's another reason why I say certain cultures can't commingle. But again, you're free to believe whatever you choose to believe. You will see. I'm just here to get you prepared mentally. That way you can start, finding and creating your exit and working and sharpening up your skills. But as I always say, life is not fair. Life is warfare. Hope this helps. Vibe God out.